Yes, children, good morning. This is Venugopal for Little Hearts Publications with Social Studies Book 5, Lesson 2, Maps. In the previous lesson, we talked about globe. Do you remember, children? A model of the earth, globe. And we discussed how is a globe useful, how it is called a model of the earth. And we all know that you might have seen maps also. In addition to a globe is difficult to carry everywhere because it is somewhat bigger in size. You can locate the places on a globe. But whereas a map is drawing of earth or any part of the earth, a map is drawing of the earth or any part of the earth. Look at this. This is a drawing of the Indian country on a flat surface on a paper. So when you draw any sketch of any place or the earth on a flat surface, a map is drawing of the earth or a part of it on a plane surface like paper, cloth, or board. This you see, this board is a flat surface. If you draw a map of the earth or map of any part of the earth, you can have the maps of continents, you can have the maps of countries, you can have the maps of oceans and seas, or even small districts and small physical regions also. Or you can have the maps of plans of a city even. These many kinds of maps are there available. Some maps are big, some maps are small. These small maps which are printed on a paper are used in the examination for you to point out different places given there in the question paper. Whereas wall maps, we discussed in the previous lesson, in the previous class, wall maps are big maps which the teachers show in a classroom, use in a classroom to show to the children different places on a map, how to locate different places on a map. Okay, children, so any drawing of the earth or a part of it on a plain surface like paper or board or cloth is called a map. So we can have the maps of different varieties, and you can show information about different mountains, hills, plateaus, rivers or cities. That's the reason why we have the maps of different sizes and shapes. And we should know why we should use a map, or what is the difference between a map and a globe. Earlier we talked about globe in the first lesson. Globe is a model of the earth. You have seen that globe earlier. I think you remember that. But globe is difficult to carry. Whatever you see on a globe can be shown on a flat surface. That is called a map. The map can be folded like this or rolled like a calendar and can be carried anywhere. Whereas the globe, it is difficult to carry from place to place. So, a map is more useful than a globe. And maps can be divided. What kind of maps are available? Maps can be showing there are political maps, physical maps, means only outlines are given, are maps showing climates of different places. So they can be physical or political or climatic. Some different varieties of maps are available. But it is difficult to carry these many varieties of maps from place to place. So we have a book of maps where you can see all varieties of maps. That book of maps is called an atlas. So this is a very important point there. We have to remember, we cannot carry all the maps wherever we want, because there will be hundreds and thousands of varieties of maps. All these maps you can have in one single book, which is called atlas, a book of maps. The maps in an area atlas show political boundaries, physical features, climate, vegetation means growth of plants or crops, and resources like crops, minerals, industries, etc. You can see when you go to a bookshop, you can ask, sir, I want India physical map, or I want India a climatic, India its climate, that map, or India its states and union territories, or I want only Indian outline map. Like that you can ask for any variety of map that is available there. So maps in an atlas show all these kinds: political boundaries, physical features, climatic conditions, vegetation, and resources like crops, minerals, industries. So these maps, which are given there in a book of maps called atlas, give us a lot of information about different continents, different countries and oceans. Where exactly they are located, what are the major cities located nearby these seas or oceans, or many rivers. India, its rivers. You can have that map also. All these maps are available there in your atlas. So, of course, if you have a map, that itself is not enough for you to understand it. How can you understand a map? If we want to use a map properly, we have to understand it first, how to use it. You can see a lot number of varieties of symbols there on a map. You can see those symbols given there in your textbook in page number 13. See, there are different symbols. A lot number of signs means signals or signs or symbols and colors. Different colors, different signs, different symbols are used to show the details on maps. All these signs and symbols and colors are together called the language of map. All the signs, symbols and colors on a map together form the language of the map. So this language, when you understand this language of the map only, you can use them properly, any map. There are some certain symbols there, certain colors are used, certain signs are there. Now look at the table there, given there. How a tunnel is represented. Conventional signs are given there, metalled road, unmetalled road or non-metalled road. How is the railway line identified on a map? You can see how is the broad gauge railway line is mapped or identified, meter gauge line is, how is it identified, how to identify a temple or a mosque or a church or international boundary, state boundary, police station, national highway, other roads, sea route. So many symbols are there. These symbols indicate different places because all these words cannot be printed there on a map. So they use certain symbols, certain signs, certain colors. These are together called the language of the map. So symbols on a map give correct information. What are the symbols we have learned? They take less space than written words. As I told you earlier, all these words to be printed there on a map it's very difficult. So these symbols occupy less space than written words. These symbols used to represent international, national, state boundaries, roads, railways, water bodies, vegetation, crops, minerals, etc. So these symbols indicate what? Represent what? International boundaries, national boundaries, state boundaries, roads, highways, railways, water bodies, vegetation or crops, minerals, all this. A map or atlas provides a key for the symbols used. The key for these kind of symbols is, you can see there in a book of maps called Atlas. These symbols help us to read and understand the maps easily. These symbols only help us to understand the map easily. Then we see different colors on maps. What are the colors and why the colors? What do the colors represent there? Different colors are used to indicate different types of places on a map. Of course, all the maps use the same color pattern for various places. For example, you take blue color. It is used to represent water bodies everywhere. Whether it's a globe or a map, blue color represents water bodies. Green color is used for plain regions. We talked about northern plains in the previous class. To show the plain regions, the green color is used. In the same way, while brown is used to represent mountains, big mountains or hills, they are represented by the color brown. And yellow color is used for showing plateaus. Yellow color indicates plateaus. Plateau means what? A high elevated land is called a plateau. A high elevated land, plain region. So let us see the colors there. Blue color indicates water bodies like oceans, seas or rivers or lakes. Pale blue means light blue color shows shallow waters of the sea. Shallow means not deep. Shallow means not deep. Deep blue color used to show deep waters. Green color used to show lowlands. Yellow and light brown is used to indicate plains. Deep brown color is used to indicate mountains. You understand, children? These are the different colors which are used on maps to indicate different kinds of places. Okay? This is all we are talking about in the language of the map. So, earlier we talked about maps in the previous class, and the directions of a map also we talked about. Suppose there is a map here. Let us suppose this is a map. The top portion is always north. The bottom portion is called the south. The right side of the map is east. The left side of the map is the west. These are the directions of a map, on a map. So, when you go out into the sea, you cannot identify the directions. A compass, an instrument named compass, helps you to identify the directions even while you are on the sea, traveling on the sea. The directions shown on the map are always the same. The top part shows the northern side, the bottom part shows the southern side, the right side of the map indicates the east direction, the left side of the map indicates the western direction. Now you can see the political map of India. You can see that there on the top, the head, it is Jammu and Kashmir located. Of course, Jammu and Kashmir is now not a single state. Jammu and Kashmir is divided into two union territories, Jammu and Ladakh. Okay. These are the two union territories that Jammu and Kashmir is divided into. Is in the northern direction. Jammu and Kashmir is located here in the northern direction. You can see that there in the map of India. Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Karnataka, Kerala are located in the southern direction here. West Bengal, Assam are here located in the eastern side. Gujarat and Maharashtra are the major states which are located on the western side of India. Okay? All the places are not exactly located in the north or in the south. Some of them are located together in a corner like northeast, northwest, southwest, southeast, like that. For example, which some states which lie between northern side and eastern sides. This is called northeast. And the states which are located between north and east are called northeastern states. In the same way, the states which are located between the north and the west here, these are called northwestern states like Rajasthan, Punjab. You can see that there. Punjab and Rajasthan can be called northwestern states. Similarly, the four directions, namely the north, south, east and west, have sub-directions. This direction is called northwest, this is northeast, this is southeast. These are called sub-directions. And this is southwest. Southwest, southeast, northwest, northeast. These are the four sub-directions of the main directions like north, south, west, east. These corners, these are called sub-directions. Now, distances and scales on a map. What do you mean by distances and scale of a map? This is the last part or point in this particular lesson. Children, very carefully understand. Each map has its own scale. What do you mean by scale? Not the scale that you use. Of course, scales show 10 centimeters, 20 centimeter scales are there, 40 centimeter scales are there. These are common. This scale is generally given in one corner of a map. We can see that there. The scale you can see in one corner of the map here. See the top. India directions. That is called scale. What is the meaning of scale on a map? We have to know that to understand the distance between two places, which is shown as 1 centimeter on a map. In a map, it is shown as 1 centimeter between 2 points A and B, two places A and B. For example, the distance between Delhi and Lucknow is shown as actual distance is 200 kilometers, let us suppose. But on the map, it is shown as 2 centimeters. So, on a map, 1 centimeter distance is equal to 100 kilometers in the actual distance. That will be written there. That scale measurements, everything will be given there on the map. 1 centimeter is equal to 100 kilometers. So, real distance is 100 kilometers, but on a map you cannot show 100 kilometers distance. So, it will be shown on a small scale 1 centimeter. Okay, so two places, you can take any two places on the scale. A distance of 1 centimeter on the map represents a distance of 100 kilometers on the ground. It is written as 1 cm is equal to 1 centimeter is equal to 100 kilometers. This representation on a map is called scale of the map. The way you represent the distance between two places or any two places on the earth or in a particular place, in a particular region, the representation of the maps in short distances, indicating 100 kilometers distance on the ground with 1 centimeter on the scale on a map. This kind of representation on a map is called scale of the map. Of course, there is another way to measure distance on a map. What is the other way? Draw a line on a map and divide it into 5 equal parts. Suppose another way of identifying distance between two places on a map. For example, draw a line on the map and divide it into 5 equal parts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 equal parts. Any 5 or 6 equal parts. This scale is known as linear scale. This way of identifying the distance between places on a map, another way of, this is called a linear scale. In this scale, the starting point is A. For example, this is A. And this part is E. Let us suppose this part is B, this is D, this is E. Okay. This stands for 0. The distance between 2 points is shown as 100 kilometers. So the distance between A and B, let us suppose, the distance between A and B is 100 kilometers. Simultaneously, the distance between A and C must be 200 kilometers. Why? Because it is divided into equal parts. It's a linear scale. In the same way, distance between A and D is 300 kilometers. This is 400 kilometers. Like this, you can represent distance on a map by linear scale also. So with this we come to the end of this lesson, children. The key for the questions and the other exercises will be sent to you through WhatsApp. Thank you.